Hi kid, welcome to another class with Mrs. Tessie. Our topic for the week is rusting. Rusting. You hear of rust every day. Your keys rust, your nails rust. But what then is rusting? First off, you should know that rusting is a chemical change because it results from a chemical reaction. In our previous week, we discussed extensively about chemical reactions, right? So since you know already what a chemical reaction is and that you've been told now that rusting results from a chemical reaction, then you should know what a chemical change is too. Note also that a chemical change such as rusting is not instantaneous. It does not just happen like you say jump and then you jump. No, it proceeds over a considerably large period of time. That is why your nail does not just turn rust tomorrow. Do you understand that? Note also that there are some conditions necessary for rusting to take place. So as we proceed in this class, you'll find out all of this. But still on rusting, it is a phenomenon of a reddish-brown coating forming on the surface of iron due to the action of wet air. Reddish-brown coating, that's that rust you see on the iron or on the nail or on the key, right? And it is due to the action of what? Wet air. Air in itself, it's air, like oxygen. But wet is signifying moisture, presence of moisture there, right? So there should be water, there should be oxygen. That's what they're trying to say. For rusting to take place, two very important things, water and oxygen, or water and air. Excuse me. Now this reddish-brown coating is referred to as rust. This is what rusting of iron is. In case you do not know what it means for an iron to rust, this is it. So that picture illustrates beautifully what rust is. Indications of a chemical change. We know already what indications. There are about 5 or 6. But for this particular one, there's a change in color. You see this picture here? There's a change in color. Originally, that chain isn't reddish brown. It is silver in color, like you know that silver shining color, iron, key, like the way your metals shine. But now it has a reddish brown color. Then a new substance is formed. What's that new substance in this case? Rust. That reddish brown, so that's a new substance that is formed, right? So these two indications show that rusting is a chemical change. Rust is the reddish-brown coating that is formed on the metal. It is formed from the reaction between oxygen and iron in an environment containing water. I explained this earlier. For an object, for iron to rust, oxygen and water must be present, or air and water must be present. Conditions necessary for rust. Apart from moisture and air, we also have acid. Acid hastens. It fastens the rate at which rust takes place. Do you understand that? That is why when metals, generally, they corrode faster under acid rains. Yes, acid does more damage to it compared with just ordinary water. Then salt. Rust occurs faster in the sea because of the presence of dissolved salt. So presence of salt increases the rate at which a metal will rust. Then impurity. Some metals are pure, others are not pure. Pure iron will rust more slowly than impure iron. So all these are conditions necessary for rust. Take note of them because you might be asked in your assessment. Now, effect of rust on metals. Is it good for rust to be on metals? Is it bad? If it is bad, how bad? What makes it bad? Iron becomes flaky and weak. Have you ever noticed a rusted metal becomes weak, flaky? You can easily break it with your hand. A metal that was otherwise strong, when it becomes rust, through that it just is feeble, is weak. You can break it easily. Then degrades the strength and appearance of iron. It doesn't look appealing to the eyes. You just see, if for example you want to pick strong iron from amongst some condemned things, see those people that sell condemned iron now, you want to pick some strong one. You won't pick a rusted iron, will you? Because you know that one is no longer strong. Yes, common sense should tell you that. So it degrades the strength and appearance of iron. Rusted iron can be a breeding ground for bacteria that cause tetanus. You know what tetanus is? It's a disease Yes, that infects open injuries, introduces germs into the injuries, and then it can cause other serious medical ailments. Okay, it kills actually, it's very serious. So children are also always given a vaccine to prevent them from this tetanus. But a very good breeding site for this tetanus bacteria is rusted iron. The more reason we should avoid iron to get rusted in our environment. So you see all those, your gates outside, of course, gates made of iron, metals, your chains. Just think of those metal buckets, metal chairs that you just leave outside your compound exposed to rain, which is moisture and air. They are bound to face rusting, and then they will lose their strength and they become weak, right? So to preserve those materials, it's good to keep them in a safe and dry place. Very important, a dry place. If there is no water, then rust will not take place. Even if there is oxygen, if there is no water, rust will not take place. So it's good you take very good care of your metals so that they don't undergo rust. How do you prevent rust? I already said put them in a dry place. That's the best preventive measure. The white man will say prevention is better than cure. It's better you prevent them from getting rust at all than to start treating the rust. That takes I think that is nearly almost impossible. So to prevent it further, you apply paints on the metals. That is why your gates and metal substances that are exposed to the rain, like you can't be taking your gates inside, for example, your protectors, those metal things that are always outside, your cars made of metals, you paint them from time to time. Sometimes you see that the paints on your cars, on your gates are faded off, and the metal is beginning to rust a little, if you notice, if you're observant. So in that case, what do? You just simply paint it to make it fresh, and then prevent rusting. You can also apply grease and oil on metal parts. Hinges of your gates, your doors, any part that is exposed to rain and air that could rust, just apply grease and oil. Then thirdly, you can use iron that is rust resistant. Some iron actually, even when they're exposed to air and moisture, they don't rust because they are rust resistant. They can resist rust. So you can use irons like that, even though they are more expensive. All right, so we have looked at all of these, and I hope that you jotted down some salient points for use in your assessment. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.